Welcome back to another episode of Unrated Podcast. You have myself, Grant. I'm also Elijah. What we're going to do today is go ahead and talk about NBA Summer League, dig into what we've seen so far just from the Detroit Pistons, what their team has been looking like. So what I'm going to do, E, go ahead and pass it over to you. What were your thoughts so far on what you saw just from the Pistons Summer League in these first couple games?
Yeah, no, I'm ecstatic. The simplest way to put it, I'm ecstatic. I love what we have on the court. It just looks like good product of basketball. And that's considering that our three best players aren't even out there. So I just think it's just good, solid basketball. We have a good roster, a good core of players that we've been drafting over the last few years. Good players that still deserve an opportunity, aren't even getting much playing time. Players like Killian Hayes. So that just shows how in depth we are as far as talent throughout the team. So I really am just ecstatic. That's the simplest way for me to put it. And that game too there, I think we scored 39 points in the first quarter. I remember some 39-point halves. Obviously this isn't a real game, but I remember 39-point halves with the Pistons. So it's just it's good to kind of see it semi come around full circle. I'm excited.
Yeah, no, it is, and I know they always try to say, like, don't take Summer League too seriously, but I think in our situation, with our team is as young as it is, and, like, majority of our roster is playing, on this Summer League roster, like, our actual, Pistons roster, regular season roster.
Yeah, it mirrors it a lot.
Yeah, so, I think this is something, like, for us to definitely be able to, like, hang our hat on. It was a great feeling just, getting up Friday morning and just seeing that Ivey drop, I think it was 23-6-6 or 26-6, something like that.
26-6, yep.
26-6. Because sometimes you look at some of these other top picks. Chet did his thing, Paolo did his thing. But then I feel like, here and there, there's a little bit of drop off a second game, or, they just, maybe will turn over the ball a little bit. Obviously doing what rookies would do in the summer league, but I just felt like Jaden just was in total control from the jump. Real active on defense. Just doing it. I didn't know he was as good a passer as he is. So that's just another thing to just kind of look forward to, because you got K just really being the floor general, actually running the point, and you can have Ivey playing alongside of him, driving to the cut, dishing, throwing lobs, and then also being a threat to finish at the rim. So it was pretty cool just being able to see that. I was pretty disappointed though when he was, he had probably one of the most electric first quarters you ever seen in the summer league in that second game, and then he got his ankle rolled up on.
Yeah.
So that kind of took the wind out of the sails. Obviously they still got the win, which is great, but it was definitely a different game, because I think he was on the verge of dropping 30 to 35. I think he was going to definitely make that happen. So hard, it's not too bad. The worst part about it is that we're probably not going to really be seeing him the rest of the league.
No, he'll be shut down. Rightfully so, kind of too. I think he's shown everything you want to see from him. It looks like he is playing at 1.5 speed, and everybody else is playing at 1. It just, he is that much faster, that much more explosive. He's just, you've seen it quick right off rip. First play, alley-oop. He was running the floor, trying to get them fast break points, trying to get dunks, trying to get highlights. That I think that's something that we're going to see throughout the year, throughout his career. It's just a hard working player overall. Often when you hear people say, "Oh, he had a motor," that's kind of an excuse for he might not be that great. But very rare do you see a player that is that great and has a motor.
Yep.
You think somebody a la like Russell Westbrook or somebody along those lines, where he's just after it relentlessly. And I kind of feel like I see that in his path, where he just shows that he's going to go full throttle. So, and then, we haven't even talked about our other Jaden Duren. He looks very good as well. Youngest player in the draft. Already has a man's body, and it knows how to kind of use that to his advantage. So, it's only going to get better from here. I can't wait to see, what he can put together as well, playing with his talent and, just playing above the rim and protecting the rim. That's kind of his two jobs here, get your lobs and clogging up the middle.
That's why we haven't talked about quite a bit, because, obviously, the storyline with Ivey just having them ties to Detroit, But Duren was getting coached by Larry Brown, the last coach to win a championship with the Pistons. So
Hall of Famer.
Came out of a pro system. Definitely understands the pro game. He did some stuff I didn't know he really even had in his game. I mean, I saw him hit a guy baseline. It's like a little pass, bounce pass, got him right to where he was really, able to grab the ball, take no dribble, and just goes right to the cup with it. And it was at a critical time in the game because they were actually beaten down on, I forgot who they were playing that second game. I think the Wizards beat down on them pretty bad. But they ended up coming back and almost taking the lead. But I just some of the stuff I saw from Duren, just late in that game. Just imposing his will. Like you said, a great rim protector. I mean, he's had about 4 or 5 really solid blocks that I've seen these first couple games. But yeah, I mean, that's somebody, like I said, we'll have to start to, monitor him and just looking to see, what more. I feel like that's kind of that was still a huge pickup that.
Yeah, we don't understand how big of a pickup that is quite yet. When you consider, I really do think when all the, looking up 2 years from now, when we're looking at some of the best young centers in the league or who kind of really shaped the roster well. And I think that's going to be a great pick. That's just kind of under the radar. And, we did a lot of the mock drafts. There was times where he was up in the, it cracked the top 10. Yeah. Yep. So, who's to say that he easily couldn't not have went, 7 or something like that out on another draft to be the second center off the board behind Chet.
Right.
So, I think and him and Chet are, you could call Chet a center, but obviously he's probably the best center in the draft because that's really what he is, and compared to Chet, who's a 0.45 whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So overall, I think we're in a phenomenal situation, and it's very exciting to see. Even players. I'm just going to give Isaiah Livers some love, and Braxton Key. I don't know. He can't be one of the random guys that we picked up in some, but he showed out from has some plays, and I think he has an eye for talent.
Yep.
And
I think
he's going to keep it around the organization, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yep. And even Isaiah Stewart, and I just what I like about Isaiah Stewart, he probably definitely could have been sitting courtside all the other guys, hanging out. Because he was all rookie team his first year. So, I think he played his way into, not having to play in the summer league, but they told him they wanted to just see what he looks like, playing at the 4. I actually saw a couple people just randomly tweeting about him the last few months about how he's gotten his game has gotten way better. So it's cool to kind of see it translate to where, I mean, he is hitting some big threes. I'm not talking mid first quarter, just kind of wide open, but I mean, he's hitting some clutch,
timely threes,
very timely, just really doing a good job. I think I saw that he might've been 9 for 20, or something along those lines in the first couple games. So just, I mean, I saw a little bit towards the end of the season. So it looked like he definitely been improving on it. And that was something I didn't know he had in his game. I mean, I'll even say there's been times on here where I was I think he might have already hit his ceiling as an offensive threat. Maybe thought he might have been more of a disposable piece just because, he might have just been limited to just rebounding, just, hook shot here and there. But I mean, he's also finding himself to be a very versatile piece that, we want to try to hold on to as long as we can, just kind of see how he's going to progress. And it'll be interesting to see because you got him playing like that. You got Duren, Nerlens Noel. Also have Marvin Bagley. There's just a lot. I mean, there could be a lot of different combinations I think we have to have in the court. Olynyk kind of in the cut, So it's
who's I think the highest paid player in our team.
Is he?
I'm pretty sure.
Might be, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Just random. I was looking at the contracts the other day, but
between him or Marv.
But he might have him now. But but no, still, I think we got a lot of combinations we can put out there, and man, I think even in the backcourt, I mean, what are we gonna do with obviously Cade starting, Ivey? We got to work in Killian Hayes, figure out what we're gonna do with that situation.
Yep.
And who can he? What's his situation in all of this? And if not, what are we going to do? Because he is still very talented and young. I think I read, I already forget, he's either 4 months older or younger than Ivey. So when you consider,
wow.
I forget what he's older or younger, but you consider that he's been on a team like 3 years.
That'd be the
It's like,
thing, man,
dude,
is like, I don't obviously that was not the greatest pick at 7, but it's like he's also, I mean, I feel like, at least give him another year and just kind of see what he can do. Because I think he might be able to turn into just that, I mean, it is what it is at this point because we already got his replacement in Cade. But, turn into that second unit point guard and really just be running the show, average like 11, 12, and 6 or something like that, or, 7 and 7 and, 3 or 4 rebounds. Great defender. I mean, I think, at worst, he can become maybe a pretty valuable trade piece on the deadline or something like that. But I don't know. I think just on the flip side of that, I mean, you look at all of these teams that are contenders, they got 8, 9 guys that like just guys that can, probably start for two or three other teams in the league.
right.
So if he could just continue to obviously we want a little bit more projectile as far as his growth, but, if we just continue to kind of see more from him, he could be somebody that's also, we just maybe need to look at just keeping a little, close to the vest and maybe not looking to, get off of anytime soon. But we'll see.
Right. Yeah, no, you're in line about teams that are deep, and I think about that a lot when I consider like, look at the Warriors. I mean, look at Celtics. Look at obviously teams that are in it. They each were going 9 guys deep, and every guy, whether it was what was it we make fun of, Vialitza or whatever his name, everybody had a point where they got hot a little bit, played a little bit, got them past that edge. So it really is a team when you come down. If we're really going to try to put together a championship type roster,
Yeah,
you do have to maybe play the long game and develop players like that, or Stewart. You
right.
do have to take a risk and develop some type of player. Maybe not both of them, but one or the other you have to pick and say, okay, let's see if we really give this guy 2-3 seasons, what he could do. Maybe 2,
Yeah.
or maybe 5 whole years at that point.
Once again,
So
too, like to his defense, I mean, didn't get summer league. He only played like 20 games for his rookie year.
mhm.
So like his development is just like, I mean, he's pretty behind, but like he's behind because of things he really can't control.
Right.
So
Probably got drafted too early. Like, he was mad young. There's lots of stuff. I mean,
right.
it's not his fault, but it is a lot that
Kind of went into play. Yeah. And then even too, like when it comes to like unfortunate part of the game, guys get hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't want to lose anybody, but like you said, it's another thing about being deep. You need a guy that can you can just plug in and play. I mean, you saw a lot of times in the playoffs, guys are missing time, and they had guys come off the bench coming in and starting. And the teams really wasn't skipping a beat. So that's be able to play at that level. We definitely, I say we can afford to maybe look a little bit closer at some of these younger guys and just see what we can make out of them, and just go from there with it. So we'll see in due time. Like I said, I'm glad got Killian out there a little bit in summer league. Isaiah Stewart choosing to be there. It was dope seeing all the guys like sitting front row, like Cade and Sadiq and Marv and a couple of other guys coming and watching the games. Like it, like you said, you've been saying a lot. We got something good. We really got something.
we got a lot. We got something kindling.
Yeah.
We got something, and I think it's just I really do think it's going to blow, and we'll have a good roster. I was hyping up everybody I talked to about the Pistons. I'm telling them, we're something to believe in.
Yeah.
I was even looking at season tickets that day. I ain't gonna lie. And
Yeah.
but no, I agree. And I just look at we can kind of expand it a little bit here for a hot second. But we've seen 2 games of all the top 3, top 5 picks.
Yeah.
So I know I'll be honest. I think Ivey looked as explosive, if not more explosive than any of them to me. I think you see just how he's scoring those points, and that can happen in now, November, December, next June. That's basketball that's going to happen regardless.
It's amazing what speed will do for you, because you can just get that ball and just go and just run past everybody. I mean, he's already got the physical tools figured out. I think another thing, I mean, his freshman year at Purdue, I think he only shot like 27% from 3. Then he got up to like 33%. I mean, he was hitting step backs in these last couple of games. Like you already said it, talk about the work ethic. And I mean, we just know, like I said, the pedigree is just there. So I'm with you. I mean, there was a point in time where they were talking about, Ivey being a potential top two pick. Obviously the other guys kind of came on the scene and stole the show, but I mean that talent is still,
I mean, I look at the one that got the most hype so far is obviously Chet. His game. I feel like he's been on primetime 9 times so far, but with that comes criticism as well. And he obviously had the first game that would look phenomenal. He had 23 and 10 or something. He looked phenomenal. Hit a bunch of threes, and then the next game, got bodied a little bit by undrafted players. So I think I've seen that. I haven't. I've seen the highlights of Banchero and Smith, but I really think he hasn't had the lowlights of other players. Obviously he got his ankle sprain, but that doesn't mean much. I just think he like you said, he's probably going to drop on his well on his way to drop mid-20s at least in that game when he went down.
Yep.
So I think he showed full throttle, and he looks like he can do this during a regular season. That's how much better and faster he looks than everybody else. He doesn't look like one of the guys. He stands out.
Right. Yeah. And I even say too, I mean, I think Paolo, he's probably looked the most consistent out of everybody. Even Jabari, I think he only had 7 or 8 points first game. I mean, he even kind of admitted he was a little nervous. But he also ended up playing against Orlando and OKC, so he kind of got outplayed a little bit. So where it didn't look like so much of a shock that he went 3, as it was, when it was draft night. And obviously, a lot of this we talk about obviously early summer league, so obviously there's a lot more ball left to play for all these guys, but I think it's just important to kind of, even saying that too, one thing I've been telling myself is a reminder. I mean, some of these teams out here, they got guys that was overseas, been on 2-way contracts 2-3 years. They're not all just undrafted, kids out of college. Obviously you don't have Bron and Steph and KD and those guys out there, but that's still high level competition, that's being played. So I think it's summer league, but some of these guys, the way they're getting their shots off and how they're playing and stuff. I mean, it's still, they're playing at a higher level in this environment. That shows that they really got that, that talent and that ability.
No, it's no question about it. He got the juice. There's no question about it.
Yeah. One guy too I wanted to bring up just real quick, because I know I talk about him quite a bit, even Mathurin. And so they actually played the Pistons in a couple of nights. We got robbed of the chance of watching Ivey and Mathurin go at it. But I mean, I've seen Mathurin. He's just kind of adjusted pretty well.
Yep.
He's been doing some pretty good thing on his end. So I think this draft, and one guy,
even Keegan Murray.
I was really about to just say Murray. I think this draft, I mean, I feel like I kind of heard people saying that it might not have been as strong as they thought it would, but I don't know. I'm watching a lot of guys.
I've seen somebody say that Keegan Murray could have potentially been a one and done player if
he wasn't Garza.
Yeah, if Garza wasn't there.
Yeah,
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah,
just how much ball Garza soaked up in it. But I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that. But I mean, I saw there's this cat that because Houston got 4 first round picks, so they even got some dude from LSU, Tari Eason, that was doing some pretty ridiculous stuff. I've been on some watching. And I watched a couple games Saturday, watched a couple yesterday. But yeah, I think this is the summer league. It's been solid so far. And I mean, we already talked about it quite a bit. Just obviously like when we seeing up in Detroit, and they really got something brewing. And I'm just, man, if we could have had Ivey just a couple more games, man, that would have been something to watch. But they got to shut him down. I'm just glad it wasn't nothing serious. But I'm just selfishly wishing that we could at least get him for one more game.
One more game. Yeah, no, I hear you on that. Hey, we'll get him for the season. We'll have them all out there, and it's gonna be something fun to watch.
Right.
As we're trying to march towards 40 wins, 38.
100%.
Yeah. No, you got anything else for people?
That's all I got, man. Like I said, just continue to just tune in and watch the other guys. It'll be interesting to see. They're giving out rings now for the summer league, so it might be a little added motivation for some players to
little summer league bling
in the mix. So
I like that.
Something to just kind of look forward to. When your team is this young, I feel like you got to hang your hat on every every victory. I mean, this ball is important. So yeah.
No, we got to start the winning culture somewhere. So I agree.
Right.
Yeah, no, for
Absolutely.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be tuning in later on this week to just start with a little bit more summer league, and then football will be around the corner. So we'll start tuning in on that too.
Yes, sir. Peace.